Hi, I'm Ron with Cruising This Old Boat, and today I'm going to show you how to change the impeller on the raw water pump on your Lehman 135. Before you do anything, make sure that the seacock supplying water to the raw water pump is in the off position. When you remove the cover off the raw water pump, you're going to lose some water into your engine pan, so make sure you have some sort of little bucket handy so that as you remove that cover you can try to capture as much of that water as possible. Next, you want to remove the screws that hold the cover plate onto the raw water pump. Now these may be an actual screw or they may be a bolt, just depends on your setup, so check that ahead of time to know whether you need a screwdriver or a wrench. You can see the water already beginning to drip, so make sure you have your bucket in place. Once you have all the screws removed, then remove the cover plate on the impeller pump. Now, depending on the type of pump you have, you may need one of these impeller puller tools. You can order these. I got this one from American Diesel, or you can just use a pair of pliers. Actually, needle nose work best, but this is what I had laying down here. And so just, you need to know what your pump is. If you're not sure which one you need, you can talk to American Diesel or some other company that services Lehman engines. On my pump, I just need to use a pair of pliers, so we're going to take the pliers, just reach in, grab the old impeller, and just pull. Now it's going to take some tugging. It's in there pretty good, but just pull it out. Next, you want to take the supplied lubricant and just lubricate the new impeller. There's no magic to it, just kind of coat it best you can. Now the new impeller can be pretty tight going in. You'll probably have to bend over the fins, particularly on the side, the flat side of the pump. Use some muscle power, and sometimes it helps even have a rubber mallet to kind of nudge it on in. The fin should end up being flush with the outside of the pump housing. You don't want them sticking out past it, or they'll be rubbing too much on the cover. And of course, if they're too far up in, they'll let water bypass them. But it's designed to where it should end up in the right place. It's not like you have to be overly concerned about getting it there on your own. Just the main thing is make sure it's all the way in. Make sure to remove all the old gasket material before you replace the impeller. You can use anything that'll scrape, a razor blade, a screwdriver, paint scraper, whatever works. Just be careful, be gentle, and don't scratch it up, because if you scratch the metal, then you could cause leaks. Once the new impeller is installed, and don't worry about which way the fins are facing. As it starts to rotate, it'll get them facing in the proper direction on its own. But once it's installed, then go ahead and place the new gasket, which is just a paper type material. And also you'll notice that there's a flat side to the gasket, which corresponds to the flat side on the housing. It's easiest to use one of the screws to hold it in place, or it'll fall off as you try to place the cover on the pump. Loosely install all the screws, making sure that you don't tear the gasket. Make sure you're not forcing the screw through the gasket, go through the hole that's already been supplied. Once all of your screws are loosely installed, then go around and tighten them all. You don't have to be a gorilla in tightening them, just make sure they're snug. Next, record the part number And the next service date, which should be about a year from now. Always change your impellers out annually, whether they need it or not. Apply the decal to the cover plate of the impeller pump. And the last thing is to turn the seacock back on. And then you're done. That's all there is to it. You're ready to get underway.